The Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, is in a deep financial crisis, and governments around the country are coming up with all sorts of weird ideas to save the economy. One novel idea is to make a city an online sensation so that people from all over the country flock to the city to spend money and boost the local economy. Especially in central China, a city called Zibo suddenly became popular because of its barbecue. This has inspired other cities. Recently, Shijiazhuang, a provincial capital next to Beijing, launched a campaign to become a rock city. Let's take a look at the absurdity of the process. On July 12, 2023, Shijiazhuang city government officials released a message saying that from July to October 2023, the city would stage the Rock Hometown event, a music season in the theme of China's City of Rock. The city would organize a series of large-scale rock and roll shows and carry out mass and regular music performances in public service. The city aims to build itself up as a rock city. Some official media commented that Shijiazhuang's move was an innovative move to attract people and have a so-called radioactive effect on the entertainment, cultural, and catering industries. Let's take a look at the scene. It said that Shijiazhuang is going to build a rock city, so I came over today to check it out. Wow, the SWAT police are here. So are the police, the fire squad. There are a lot of kids up there. Tow trucks are here too. Make sure you don't park on the side of the road. Oh, so many people here. And there's a hot pot, and you can have a hot pot here. Too many people. They started singing, but I couldn't get in. Chinese netizens are mocking. The same thing with Zibo barbecue. The government is really out of money. If they had just a little bit of money, they wouldn't have counted on rock and roll to come to the rescue. Why did the government come up with the idea of Rock Hometown? The main reasons are, first, the direct translation of Shijiazhuang into English happens to be Rock Hometown. And in 2022, a rock song called Kill the Shijiazhuang Man suddenly became a hit on the Chinese web. The song is set in a situation where employees working in a state-run pharmaceutical factory in northern China suddenly faced layoffs due to restructuring. Workers' lives went from a routine to a sudden collapse. The city of Shijiazhuang is less than 300 kilometers from Beijing and about 155 kilometers from Chang'an New Area, which is being vigorously promoted by the Central Committee of the CCP. The city once had a thriving industrial sector, including the largest pharmaceutical plant in Asia, and was known as the pharmaceutical capital. In an era dominated by the planned economy, many ordinary Shijiazhuang residents were employees of state enterprises. When parents retired, their children took over their jobs. However, by the end of the 1990s, the tide of market economy swept across China. A large number of state-owned enterprises were transformed into private ones, and the rich and powerful bought up these state-owned assets at a very low price. At the same time, more than 50 million former employees of state-owned enterprises were dismissed. This was known as laid-off workers at the time. Shijiazhuang also received a large number of heavy industries relocated from Beijing, and at one time it became the city with the worst smog in the country. But when Beijing needs blue skies, these enterprises have to be shut down. Unemployment then spread to industrial cities like Shijiazhuang, where many families were suddenly cut off from what had been their day-to-day work and life for 30 years. They had no other skills and almost no compensation. They entered the factories too early, and when they were laid off, they were older and lacked the ability to re-enter the workforce. Under the heavy pressure of life, some people even chose to end their own lives and the lives of their families. The CCP government has created a series of theories to rationalize this trend in the official media. For example, in 1999, on the night of the Chinese New Year, CCTV broadcast the biggest spring festival gala of the year. In a small stage drama, the party offered this message to comfort the public. How can anyone have a smooth ride? Who hasn't met something in his or her life? Take me, for example. I used to be a cadre. I'm not bragging. I graduated from school at the age of 18 and went to the bicycle factory. I was a member of the Communist Youth League before joining the party. I was on the honor roll 3 times, and the factory manager thought highly of me, and I was about to be promoted to deputy team leader. However, the leader kept talking to me, saying that the unit would be downsized and the factory would be merged. At that time, I expressed my position that we workers should think for the country, and who would be laid off if not me. Some Chinese netizens later wrote about this stage play. Amidst the applause, too many unemployed workers were weeping on that night of the Chinese New Year's Eve. This is the background of the song Kill the Shijiazhuang Man. Now the songwriter has entered the meeting room of the government and is sitting down to participate in an official discussion. So the netizens commented, "It turns out that rock musicians are angry because they have no place in the government establishment. It means that if people making rock music have iron rice bowls and guaranteed security, they won't have any more mental anguish." In the midst of China's new wave of unemployment, this rock song spoke out what many people were afraid to say. The song became such a hit that the city of Shijiazhuang became almost a trademark of the Chinese web. 2 years ago, the Communist Youth League of Hebei Province adapted Kill the Shijiazhuang Man and made the song The Shijiazhuang Man Who Can't Be Killed. The original lyrics, "The night covers the North China Plain and his face is drenched in sadness," were replaced by "The dawn comes again to the North China Plain and he picks up his scattered beliefs." And the original "Living in Experience Until the Building Collapses" was replaced by "Reunion in Spring Shijiazhuang Without Regrets." The depiction of the unemployment wave suffered by workers has been changed into something full of positivity, but the singer was scolded by the public and publicly apologized.
燃起梦的篝火，昂首迈步进发，黎明在林华北平原，重拾散落的心叶。
The process by which the song was adapted can be seen as a snapshot of this official exploitation of rock music by the city of Shijiazhuang. Online users described it as red rock. A list of participants in a research symposium on rock music in Shijiazhuang circulated online a few days ago. Many netizens are unimpressed with the government's vision of creating a so-called city of rock. The list was topped by 7 provincial and municipal propaganda officials and officials from the culture and tourism departments. It included deputy secretaries of state-owned enterprises, chairmen of quasi-official associations, and numerous executives of cultural and entertainment companies. There are only 6 representatives of real rock bands. Netizens left comments on Chinese social media to express how they felt. The name list fully embodied that rock is the party's rock, and I guess the song list will all be about the main theme. It turns out that the rage of rock is derived from having no place in the establishment. I've been enlightened. The government staying out of it would be the best protection for rock music. Seeing news like this, I can already foresee the end of rock music in Shijiazhuang. What I want to say is rock and roll still rock music when it's being controlled by the government? Rock is inherently anti-establishment, so now you're creating an institutionalized rock city? If you can't rock, you're left with roll. Take a look at the vibe at the venue. It was an event like an opening ceremony. The venue wasn't full. People were shouting, "Rock City Shijiazhuang, Fight Shijiazhuang," and slogans of that sort. According to the city's official news release, from July to October, Shijiazhuang will use the rock bus or rock subway as a carrier and arrange for rock musicians to randomly ride public transportation from time to time, and hold innovative flash mobs, improvisational performances to increase public participation and interactivity. In this regard, the party secretary of Shijiazhuang City Culture, Radio, Television, and Tourism Bureau said that it will take multiple measures to realize the rock elements throughout the city and rock images be seen everywhere.
当地的文旅局表示呢，要将石家庄全
The Shijiazhuang Culture and Tourism Bureau says it wants to turn Shijiazhuang into China's rock city.
之城。
To this end, the local government is planning to organize a Rock City music performance season from July to August, and will also arrange for rock musicians to randomly ride on buses from time to time to hold flash mob-style performances to enhance the public's sense of participation and interactivity.
Here's a picture of the performance on the subway. Let's have a look. These passengers at the back of the musicians look uninterested, a stark contrast to the singers' enthusiasm. To maintain order, the police are also invited into the subway, and the feeling of being orchestrated is strong. And what do the citizens think? Sometimes it's disgusting what Rock City is doing. I'm kind of in favor of making a rock city, but there are two things that made me feel really sick about it. The first is singing in the subway. The second is to sing on the bus in the future. Life in Shijiazhuang is busy to begin with. We all know it's the most hectic and lowest paying city. Then in the subway, we may need to look for work to do or brush up on our knowledge to develop ourselves or respond to our bosses. But when someone sings in the subway, it kind of messes with people's minds. It's kind of disrupting everyone's thinking. China City News reported on August 7, 2023 that Shijiazhuang was an important place of feverish inception in early rock and roll in China. And now the government is beginning to consciously bring rock music from the underground to the surface. This promo is controversial, not only in the official packaging and propaganda of rock music, but also in the recruitment of rock band members. Early in June, the Hebei Musicians Association launched a rock music creation base in Hebei's capital, Shijiazhuang. According to the association, the base aims to unite the rock-loving crowd, standardize and develop rock music creation through the platform of the Rock Music Creation Base, and guide rock musicians to create new rock music that is passionate, positive, and popular with Chinese characteristics. A vice chairman of the Provincial Federation of Literary and Art Circles called for the role of the base to lead and support the creation of more rock music works that glorify the motherland, the party, the people, the new era, and the heroes, which are upward and positive, and more socialist new rock full of positive energy. The netizens' reaction to this is that the official promotion is about positive energy music, not about making music that can really touch people's hearts. In fact, it's to develop a performance economy in the name of rock music. Chinese media recorded the activities of the lead singer of a well-known local band in Shijiazhuang. He said from March to July 2023, the government held 7 or 8 seminars. Almost every leader who met him asked the same question: what is rock and roll? Once the United Front Work Department organized a meeting, the city's traffic control, public security, and fire services all came. The lead singer suggested, "Can we allow motorcycles to attend the festival?" The reason was that rock and roll advocates the spirit of freedom, which is closely associated with the motorcycle, the soul of our freedom. The director of the Traffic Management Bureau immediately said no, because it was the policy of the central government to ban motorcycles in cities. On July 22nd, the day of the show, the lead singer of Shijiazhuang's first rock band stood on the stage and called on the audience to order a song. Someone ordered a song from a well-known Hong Kong rock band, Beyond Sky and Sea. He said to the audience, "I wish you all the best in every aspect of the sky and sea, all the way to the rainbow." After the show, he faced a number of media outlets and said, "Rock bands in our city of Shijiazhuang are full of positive energy." The next day, a reporter at a cafe asked him, "Isn't rock and roll supposed to be free and rebellious? Why did he say those things at the show?" He said, "That's the foreign definition of rock and roll. We have Chinese rock and roll." Despite the various criticisms facing the music development sector, the voices of approval think that it isn't wrong for the government to have the objective of developing the economy. But does it really work? Let's take a look at the story of the city of Zibo. In March 2023, the nationwide official media began to vigorously promote the Zibo barbecue, which has encouraged a large number of people to go to Zibo to enjoy the barbecue. Out-of-town government agencies have also gone in groups to visit Zibo and learn from the experience of the city. For a while, Zibo barbecue was a big hit, but the heat only lasted 2 months. After the May 1st holiday, traffic to Zibo for barbecue greatly reduced, and soon things returned to normal. A large number of new barbecue restaurants that were open to take advantage of the heat lost money and closed down. Look at the crowd in Zibo now compared with what it was before. The left was taken on May 24th, the right was taken on September 13th, 2023. The noodle sellers and meat sellers went back to their old businesses, and the tofu sellers returned to their old ways instead of selling purple rice crackers. As the crowds recede, more and more of those out-of-town merchants who moved in during the summer are beginning to leave, and I'm sure that in the near future this place will go back to the way it was. In fact, as early as the end of May, the Zibo barbecue that was officially promoted has shown signs of decline. Since yesterday, I've noticed that it's 6 p.m. and still there are no customers on board. 10 days ago, it was packed at this time of the day. Families, why is the heat gone from Zibo these days? Where are all the tourists eating and drinking, running to Zibo for the barbecue? So, many people voice their skepticism. Fewer and fewer tourists are coming to Zibo for barbecue. Is Zibo's popularity a flash in the pan? It's going back to normalization eventually. I noticed a lot less out-of-town traffic on the roads this weekend, and the crowds at the 8 major online barbecue joints are down. Let's be realistic. Will Zibo stay popular? Who knows how the Shijiazhuang government feels about seeing these bare grills?